during the 5th year anniversary stream for Jujutsu Kaisen's anime, we received some great announcements. We found out that Phantom Parade is getting a new original story with Yuji in prison. That's pretty cool. We're getting a theatrical release of the Shibuya incident, just like we did with the Hidden Inventory arc. That's also pretty neat. And oh yeah, a full surprise trailer for Season 3 that says not only will it be releasing in January of 2026, oh no, the theatrical release of the Shibuya incident that I just mentioned will also have the first 2 episodes of Season 3, and that will be available on November 7th, which is not that far away, and that is absolutely insane. Now, this trailer took us all by surprise, and despite it only showing us around 12-ish chapters worth of content, it revealed to us how much Mappa is adding to the story and fights post Shibuya to make Jujutsu Kaisen's anime even better. So in this video, I'm going to break down what we see in the video, how much content I think this season will cover, as it was revealed to be the first part of the Culling games, as well as how much stuff we see in the trailer is completely anime original and not present in the manga. And just in case you're wondering, Mappa has a very good track record for adding anime-only content in Jujutsu Kaisen. If you're unsure about that, just look at Todo and Yuji versus Mahito. That fight in Shibuya is a prime example of how much they can add to the original manga effectively and how just gorgeous it looks. Also, of course, I'll say it now, like, comment, sub, become a member, join Patreon, because why not? Now, the trailer. But before that, spoiler warning for the series, obviously. I also don't usually do face cam videos, but given how sudden this trailer came out, and I also need to get a video out for this channel because it's been a couple of weeks, I'm just going to do it like this, right? But it will also have, I will put panels and stuff on screen when they are mentioned. I'll be also stopping and starting the trailer a lot, so I don't get the video taken down. Before you watch this, watch the trailer in motion yourself. So I'll put a link on screen now and in the description for the full trailer. But with that being said, let's get into the analysis. So the trailer itself starts here on these iconic steps, right? This is chapter 138, right? This is the chapter in which the Zenin clan heads are first introduced. This specific shot is from the later half of the chapter, in which we get Yuji and Choso on their own just after the Shibuya incident. Yuji, of course, depressed about the events of the incident, and of course all the stuff Sukuna did. Yuji himself saying that he can't be with everyone anymore. As you can see on screen, that's what he's saying too, and in the manga as well, and Yuji will say it later on the trailer too. He's very worried about the fact that Sukuna has plans for Megumi that he doesn't understand yet. While this is happening, of course, Choso is attempting to comfort Yuji whilst he's saying all this stuff, and Yuji also says, like, he kind of half apologises about unaliving, deading Iso and Kechizu to Choso, which Choso just forgives and doesn't really care about. We get a title screen. I'm going to turn the audio down just so I don't get sued. We then get like a sequence of shots here of Yuji fighting curses just after Shibuya. Now, in the chapter itself, I think is 139? Yeah, I think 139. Basically, there's about 10 pages worth of Yuji fighting curses. Now, in this sequence, there is nothing like this, right? It's all grounded of just like, we get the end of Shibuya with Yuji clapping, and then about 9-10 pages of Yuji and Choso fighting curses. And it's literally just them kind of running along the road and fighting curses as they go along. There's nothing like this of them jumping out of skyscrapers. This here is anime original, right? And so is the following shots here of Yuta walking through a building nearby and spotting Yuji. This is all anime only. This is, you know, this isn't in the manga. Making Yuta kind of like, from this perspective, it's as if they're trying to frame Yuta as a horror character following Yuji throughout, you know, the aftermath of Shibuya. The next shot here, but this is just outside the Zenin headquarters. We have Naoya, and just behind, we have Maki and Mai's mother. This is where we get the famous line of 3 steps behind. Pretty cool. This specific shot isn't in the manga, but, you know, the scene is in the manga. You also kind of missed it here. We also have a shot of seemingly Yuji attempting to wash his hands. This is more of a visual metaphor. Yet again, this isn't in the manga, but this is, you know, like Yuji trying to wash his hands clean of all the lives he's taken as Sukuna. You know, just a visual metaphor, not in the manga. Same with this creature here. As I said, Yuji fighting those curses in a skyscraper, not in the manga, so obviously this guy isn't either. Yeah, yet again, Yuji trying to wash his hands clean, another visual metaphor. Mappa? No way. And here we get the shot that ended Season 2. Yuji clapping, which signals curses to come, then him and Choso fight off a bunch of curses. They are clearly extending this sequence significantly, which I'm perfectly fine with because it's very hype and very cool. But as I said, in the manga, it's literally only like 9-10 pages long, so it's very interesting to see how much they will add. And we get little snippets of what they added throughout this trailer. It's not in chronological order, everything we see, okay? This shot here, of course, is, I think, chapter 1... This is from chapter 143. This is post-fight with Yuta and Yuji. Yuta, of course, wins. But from the looks of it, they'll be adding a lot more to that fight. But here, this is Yuji after he wakes up after being healed with RCT and, sees Megumi for the first time after Shibuya, feeling guilty and saying, Megumi giving a speech all the time, as he gives in the trailer itself, saying how, they're not heroes, they're Jujutsu sorcerers, which is, pretty cool. This is the first shot we get of Tengen's realm. Now, this is really cool because stylistically it looks like Monogatari. If you haven't seen that, that's fine. It's a very weird show. But in the manga, it's just a stellar white space with nothing there. It's very blank, which, translating that from anime to manga would be very difficult because having stark white on the screen at all times would be very difficult to look at. So they've translated it this way, which is a very cool stylistic choice, which I'm very much okay with. Yet again, more curses. As I said, I feel like the sequence with Yuji and Choso fighting curses will be extended significantly until they're interrupted by Naoya and then in turn interrupted by Yuta. They're just extending these sequences out a good chunk more, which I'm more than fine with. This is, Yuji and Choso versus Naoya pieces them up and then Yuta interrupts. I think this is chapter 139. Chapter 139 is where Choso, Yuji, and Naoya fight, and then Yuta interrupts at the end of the chapter. Chapter 140, they then split off. This is, ironically, the end of the fight between Yuta and Yuji. As you can see, he's got the mark across his chest, so this is after Yuta cuts through the knife. So this is the end of the fight, where Rika grabs him, traps him, and then Yuta stabs him through the heart. This is the very end of the fight. As you can tell, he's got the big scuff mark on his chest. Well, stomach. 3D Sakuna finger. Epic. Yet again, this feels just like, the extension from the shot of the intro of Yuji fighting the curses that were flying, right? That Yuta was watching from afar. And this is just the shot before that. They've just put it in a weird order. They've just switched them around. This is clearly the shot before that. This is towards the end of the fight between Yuta and Yuji, in which Yuji gets a combat knife, infuses it with cursed energy. Yuta cuts straight through it, and that's where Yuji got the mark on his stomach that you saw 2 seconds ago when Rika's hand was behind him. And this seems to be towards the intro to the fight, because at the start, Yuta immediately cuts Yuji's cheek. So this is the scuffle. We got shown the end of the fight, and this is pretty much the start of it. This is yet again Tengen's realm, where Tengen is probably just explaining from the in the distance, explaining the Kogane for the Culling games and how the rules of the Culling games work, which is fine. Yet again, chosen to get very stylistic with Tengen's realm, which I think is a great idea, because it'd be very hard to translate directly from the manga and be very difficult to look at. So they've just turned it into like a matrix grid, I suppose. And this is a lot of people don't think notice this. This is literally just Tengen, because it's like a shot that is reminiscent of Kenjaku, and we get another shot of him directly after this. But this is just Tengen holding the back of the prison realm. So Tengen here is like, they've made Tengen completely stark white and pale, which I think is perfectly fine. Yeah, this is the first shot of Tengen we've seen so far in the anime, which is pretty cool. Granted, we're not seeing much of her, but still pretty cool. Yeah, again, shot of Kenjaku. This is probably, ironically enough, this will be where Tengen says Kenjaku's name for the first time, so he's not Pseudo Geto anymore for anime only, which is pretty cool. Okay, so this sequence of shots, this is all anime only. The fight between Yuji and Yuta never goes indoors, which this is seemingly what it is. This looks like a movie theater. This is all anime exclusive. This is before Yuji gets his cheek cut, so it seems that the stuff that they're adding to the fight is in between Yuta running away, in between Yuji running away from Yuta and Yuji and Yuta clashing, like Yuta cutting Yuji's cheek. It seems like there's a gap there that they've filled with a bunch of anime only stuff, which is really cool. I'm very happy to see. Like, it looks great. This looks absolutely awesome. Like, Yuji doesn't have this cut on his cheek here yet, so I'm guessing from this shot they then transition to fighting outside, and then they clash. Yuji gets a cut on his cheek. Pretty dope though. And this is my favourite shot of the entire trailer. We see Naoya's projection sorcery, which is, of course, this is glorious. Look at that. It's so kinetic. They've drawn it in such a unique way. I was very excited to see how they portrayed projection sorcery, because the way it's portrayed in the manga is literally just he vanishes instantly. Like in the fight between him and Yuji and Choso, literally the paneling shows him just, he's there one shot, gone the next, and it's literally, that's how they've chose to portray it in the anime, which I think looks phenomenal. Just look at it. It's so sick, dude. But this is specifically the fight in the tunnel against Choso, which is also one of my favourite fights in the series, I won't lie. Yeah, it's just more blood-based stuff, monochromatic, cool, or at least low saturation. This shot here confused me upon first watching it. So I think this is just a more curse killing with Yuji and Choso. He just dive kicks one in the air by the looks of it. I don't know what else this could be. Or maybe it's like Choso shooting one from afar. I don't know. This shot, as you can see in the top left, this is Tengen's realm. This is just like another area of it when they first walk in. Like they've went very, not experimental with Tengen's realm, but they've chose to explore it in a very cool way by the looks of it, which I'm very happy with. This is them first entering Tengen's realm. Yet again, it's in a weird order. Since Choso's in the back, it's not them leaving Tengen's realm, because as you know, Yuki and Choso stay behind. This is them first entering Tengen's realm. This is the first part we see of the Zenin Clan Massacre, which I think is really cool, because in the manga, in my opinion, it's very hard to track the movements and the paneling. Whilst it is cool to look at, it's kind of hard to see what's happening and when. However, when you look at it here, it's, as I say, it's hard to tell in the manga, but Maki is dual wielding. She's using Keel / Dragonbone and the Soul Splitter, and in the transition between the fight between the here and the fight with Naoya, Maki drops both her weapons, and it's not really shown in the manga why. She literally cuts off Jinbachi's head with the Soul Splitter and then sees Naoya, and as soon as she sees Naoya, the Soul Splitter and Keel are both gone, and we never see what happened to both of them. And hopefully we see it in the anime. I'm pretty, I'm just looking at the shot in of itself, the way they've chosen to portray the Zenin clan, at least in this shot where like most of the action takes place, is very unique, because it's just like traditional like tatami flooring from what I recall, and they've made it look very unique. And of course we have the pit scene with Mai and Maki, destroy them all, pretty dope. This seems to be, this curse specifically looks like the one from the introduction of Yuji clapping his hands. So this looks to be literally the shot after Yuji clapping, right? And it makes sense because it fits the lighting of that shot too, of the like purple pinkish backdrop. So yeah, this is like, yet again, this is from just after Yuji clapping, right? And I'm pretty sure that specific curse is in the manga, like the specific one with the like those eyes. I think that one specifically is in the manga. This shot here, I think if you look at the bottom, you can see that Naoya has a bit of blood around his legs. So this is halfway through, like this is towards the end of the Naoya and Choso fight, and the red of the tunnel, I suggest, is like it's implying the incoming blood wave towards him. So he's screwed, right? He's screwed at this point, which is great. This shot as well, since it's the purple lighting, I think is just an extension of the start of Yuji fighting the curses initially after the clap. And you can tell that's probably that, because it doesn't have a scar on his cheek, doesn't have a scar on his stomach. This is just, from him killing a bunch of curses, which is pretty cool. That's pretty much the long and short of it. Not much else to say. In regards to what will be covered is, of course, what was just shown here. Directly post Shibuya with Yuji and Choso, the introduction of the Zenin clan, well, the explanation with Tengen, then the perfect prep with Maki, and it'll probably might cut off there. I'm thinking maybe we'll see perfect prep with Yuji and Hikari. That's also possible. But perfect prep with Maki happens first, and then we get the stuff with Hikari afterwards. I could see that happening. This season that we get will end before Higuruma, before Kashimo, before all that stuff. It'll either end just after the Naoya fight or just after they get Hikari to join the fight. But I don't think it'll go past that. So we might get this in 3 parts, not 2, to be honest, because they might split the main Culling games into 2 pieces. But that is pretty much it. As you saw from the trailer itself, the stuff that was being shown, a lot of the stuff in regards to Yuta there's a lot of anime only stuff, which I think is great. They are extending these fights significantly, and as I said in the intro, Mappa has a really good track record for adding anime exclusive stuff. Like, just look at the difference between the way Todo hits a Black Flash in season 2 and the way he does in the manga. The anime looks 10 times better. I just wanted to make this video really quickly, since you gotta be hot on the pulse sometimes, and I haven't released a video in a good few weeks, so I may as well get this video out. But yeah, that's the long and short of it. Toodles my doodles, hopefully see you in the next one. Don't forget, as I said, like, comment, subscribe, membership, etc. Hopefully see you in the next one. Peace.